Hello, my name is Rosa, and the untranslatable word that I'm going to be presenting on today is Hiraeth, which comes from the Welsh language. First, I want to focus on the meaning of the word Hiraeth. Like I said, it's a Welsh word, and what it means is for one to have a feeling of homesickness mixed with a longing sadness for the romanticized past. It characterizes a mixture of nostalgia, wilfulness, and yearning. In the Welsh language, the first part of the word hir means long, and the second half of the word eith means sorrow or grief. So the literal translation of the word is long grief. However, hira is so much more than that. The reason that it's considered it untranslatable is because the world is heavily linked to the history and culture of Wales. However, beyond the history and culture of Welsh, the reason that Hiraeth is so deeply untranslatable is because it's more than a place or a person. It's searching for this emotion of a moment that you might never get back. It's this undeniable yearning for more than, like I said, a place or a person. It's an unknown beauty of nostalgia that's always a welcome to the people of Welsh. For them, Hiraeth is such woven into their culture that they welcome this unknown yearning for nostalgia. They recognize it and they feel it fully to the extent because it's so important to them and their. Now that we've established what Hiraeth means, I want to dive into the history and prevalence of the word in the Welsh culture. Hiraeth first appeared in Welsh writings in the 16th century in a collection of Welsh poems called the Old Verses. In these poems, an unknown poet pleads for a cruel Hiraeth that breaks his heart and wakes him in the night. In these poems, Hiraeth is portrayed as being linked to a grief that serves as the key to revival. For the people of Wales, the feeling of Hiraeth was heavily prevalent during the 19th century, when the British were dismantling the Welsh identity and replacing it with a melancholic and unprogressive Celt. Since the British were dismantling Welsh culture, many Welsh immigrants, even in the midst of feeling Hiraeth, began heading to other parts of the world in hopes of preserving their culture and language. In their hopes of preserving their culture and language, we can fast forward to today. As the people of Wales return to their homeland, it's easy to see that in today's day and age, there's been a resurgence in the people learning Welsh. Since for some years a prominent language in Wales was English after the British invaded and settled there. However, the reason for this resurgence is because in today's day and age, the people in Wales are feeling Hiraeth and want to fully understand it and learn the Welsh language so they can feel closer to their ancestors who settled Wales and created this beautiful language and this beautiful word that means so much to them. Shared with y'all a bit about the history of Wales and the word Hiraeth and what it means to them. I want to dive into looking at other untranslatable words that are similar to Hiraeth but don't fully encapsulate its meaning. The first untranslatable word that I want to talk about that's similar to Hiraeth is the word saudade in Portuguese, which means to have a melancholy nostalgia for something that perhaps has not even happened. The second word is the word sensu, which comes from the German language, which literally means to have a sickness caused by yearning or desire. All these untranslatables focus on the feeling of nostalgia accompanied by other heavy and sad emotions. But to say that these words are just about feeling nostalgic would be to diminish the true emotions that they carry in terms of how they each individually translate into the cultures of which they generate from. An important aspect of this word that I want to dive into is to look at how Hiraeth contrasts with the words in the English language. Some words in the English language that can be somewhat likened to Hiraeth are nostalgia, yearning, and homesickness. Yet they don't fully encompass the true meaning of Hiraeth. Whenever I'm feeling homesick, I obviously link it to the place that I call home. However, Hiraeth is more than that. Like I mentioned earlier, for the people of Wales, when they feel Hiraeth, they link it beyond a place and they romanticize this deep emotion of yearning and nostalgia. As opposed to when I'm feeling homesick, it's typically because I am sad. We've all heard the phrase, there's no place like home, and that's very true. Yet the people of Wales with the word Hiraeth take that phrase to a whole new level. The English language separates the words nostalgia, yearning, and homesickness, Well, the Welsh language combines all those words and what they mean it into the word Hiraeth. Now that I have shared with you all the meaning of the word Hiraeth, some history on the word and its origins in the Welsh language and the importance of the word in Welsh culture, as well as other translatables that are similar to Hiraeth but don't encapsulate the full meaning of the word, and how the word contrasts with the words in the English language, I want to conclude with presenting to you all the use of Hiraeth in the past and how it has influenced Welsh culture today. Keithan Williams, who lived from 1918 through 2006, was a prolific Welsh painter, most notably recognized for painting melancholic landscapes. Here to the right, I'm showing you one of the paintings that he did. This particular painting is called At Corn Y.D. Adonia. It's an oil painting on canvas of a village in Angley, Wales, where he grew up. Williams' use of bold expressionist style and a well recognition of the elements of melancholy made him a renowned artist and a defining artist of Wales during the 20th century. Looking at his painting leads one to feel Hiraeth. The next person I want to talk about is Hedwyn, born Ellis Evans, lived from 1887 through 1917 and was a soldier who became famous for writing anti-war poetry during World War I. His poems and himself as a person became a symbol of a generation lost during the First World War. So when the people of Wales think of that generation and read his poems, they feel Hiraeth. The last person that I want to talk about is Raymond Williams, who lived from 1921 through 1988. He was a well-known socialist writer whose book entitled The Country and the City showcased an intense feeling of Hiraeth towards the country of his birth. By looking at the past of Wales and some of its people, it's clear to see that Hiraeth has been woven into it and become an essential representation of its people and the way that they feel about their homeland. The people of Wales fit into one word an expression of so many beautiful and bittersweet emotions. I hope you've enjoyed hearing more about this word and the important value it holds in the culture of Wales and how there truly isn't any word quite like it.